I haven't been this excited about something in a very, very long time. What is up, guys, and welcome back to JSR. Today, we've got something pretty cool to do here. I haven't done a proper unboxing video, and it feels like years. And I apologize for whispering. I'm in my living room instead of my bedroom, which is typically where I film stuff like this. But, you know, my family's here. Don't want to be too much of a ruckus. So, apologies, I'm going to be whispering about this video until we actually go to set this up. But, I tend to keep my sim rigs for a few years, and this one is going to be no different. This one is very expensive, and I plan on using it for a very long time. So yeah, let's go through my history real quick. This is my fourth rig I've ever owned. This one right here is. I started off in 2011. I was about 11 or 12 years old. I want to lean towards 12 because I'm pretty sure I got it during the holiday season at a Logitech Driving Force GT. Loved it. By far my favorite wheel that I had as a kid, and still one of my favorites, I would say now. I have a lot of nostalgia towards it. Sure, it was loud, it was clunky, it didn't have a lot of strength on it, but I loved it. I adored it, and I kept it for about 5 years. I kept it up until about, well, I'd say about 6. I had it up until about 2017 when I swapped that out for a brand new, at that time, G920. And I loved that wheel as well. I kept it for a multitude of years, and it treated me really well. It was really comfortable. It was really easily usable. Of course, it was also pretty loud. Not as loud as people seem to think they are. I think the volume of them is very over-dramatized on the internet. But I started having some issues with the shifter, and the pedal box shorted out twice, which was kind of annoying, as you can imagine. But I loved my G920, and I kept that one up until about 2022 when I bought my T300RS that I've used since. And I like my T300RS, it's been great, but there's just some things I didn't like about it. The driver issue on PC I've had forever is just so bad. I hate having to deal with it. The pedals suck. I mean, let's be real, but I was not impressed with the pedal box that came with the Thrustmaster. And I just was ready to upgrade to my dream setup. When I bought the Thrustmaster, I knew it was going to be a stopgap wheel. I didn't buy it with intentions on holding it onto it as long as I did my Logitech setups I had before. So I started shopping for a direct drive wheel. A lot of you guys know I'm getting married in a few months, and I'm not going to have a whole lot of time left to just spend money willy-nilly and not have any sort of consequences on my household. I'm going to have to support a household, and I need to, you know, get all out of the way while I can. And while I have the money to afford it, while also affording other responsibilities, and not being too reckless. So yeah, this was definitely one of those treat yourself purchases. So this will be my fourth setup. This is my first direct drive wheel, and I'm sure you probably can guess by the logos on some of those boxes exactly what brand it is. So I went with Fanatec. This is a custom setup. I did not get a ready to race package. I wanted to spec out everything as I wanted it. I did cut a couple corners, and I'll talk about that as we go through this video and go through the unboxing. But yeah, this is effectively my dream setup, and I'm very excited about this. I'm gonna hold on to this one for a very long time. And I mean, for the costing over 3 times as much as my T300RS did back in 2022, I'd hope I'd keep it for a long time. But anyway, I'm gonna go grab something to cut these boxes open with, because the one thing I forgot to do before I started recording this, and we're gonna get into the unboxing. All right, let's start with the first package. We're gonna start with the smallest package, and that is this QR2 quick release. Now, this was a free included bit when I bought this setup. I'm guessing there's some sort of deal they're doing right now on these things, so I was able to get this one included for free. So we'll unbox it first just because it is the smallest package. So let me find a good spot to cut the tape up on this thing. All right, so there we go. So this is the wheel side QR2 system from Fanatec. This base is not QR2, so this I'm gonna hold on to because I eventually might upgrade mine to QR2. Well, I might be surprised soon as there's a QR2 sitting in there. But yeah, so this is the first bit of the package here. This is the QR2 wheel side hub adapter for the quick release system. I believe this base is QR1, which is their, of course, first generation quick release system. So should be fine. All right, next box we've got here is the table clamp, the CSL DD table clamp. All right, so here we are with the DD table clamp. So this should be a pretty self-explanatory thing. Just mounts the thing to the table, or in this case, a desk. So next up is the Boost Kit 180. Now this is the power kit that takes the DD base to 8 Newton meters of torque. I wanted this for sure. That was one of the big kind of selling points for moving to the Fanatec setup, was getting that extra grunt out of the setup. So, all right, much easier box to open than the others. But here we are. Heat. So this is the Boost Kit 180. This adds juice to the 5 Nm kits to go up to 8 Nm. I believe you don't necessarily need these with the DD Extreme kits, but there it is. So that is going to be handy as well. That's included with the 8 Nm kit, just because you need it to even have the 8 Nm of torque. So the next one we've got here is the wheelbase itself. Now, I'm briefly going to talk about why I didn't go with SimiCube or Moza or even Logitech's G Pro wheel. And yeah, so my main requirement was it had to be PlayStation compatible. And you guys know I do a lot of Gran Turismo stuff, play a lot of Gran Turismo 7. So I needed to maintain that PlayStation compatibility. Obviously, Moza and SimiCube in particular are not PS compatible, and Fanatec barely is. The Logitech G Pro was kind of my first choice, but I was already going to be spending more than this cost actually to get that just in basic form, just the wheel and pedals on their own. Their pedals are $350 to keep in mind, and are not included with the base, which is $1,000. So I opted for the Fanatec instead because I was able to get more. There's a lot more of an ecosystem with this stuff, and it's a lot more tried and true. The G Pro is relatively new, and I would rather wait for a second generation for Logitech to fix their bugs with it, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of them. Logitech is a good company, but I just also know first generation products typically don't work as well as they should. So this is the DD wheelbase, and it's kind of the main piece of this whole build. And like I said, I optioned this with the 8 Nm stuff, which is why the boost kit's here. But this is kind of the piece de resistance of the whole project. And they kept the PlayStation theming on the box. The white and blue box that is pretty much synonymous with almost every PlayStation accessory, especially in the last few years. They kept it here, which is really nice to see. And of course, it is PlayStation compatible because it is the Gran Turismo base. So one thing, since we're getting ready to move on to it, that does suck is since I did the custom system, I didn't get the Gran Turismo branded steering wheel. No problem buying that on eBay. So I opted for a different one. So let's go ahead and unbox that next. All right, so for the wheel, I opted for the CSL BMW, and this is where my first cost cut came into play. So originally, my dream setup included the Porsche GT3R wheel, which is, of course, a really expensive add-on for these. It's about $550. It's one of the most expensive steering wheels they offer for Fanatec setups. And I wasn't comfortable adding that extra $500 on, so I opted for the much cheaper $140 CSL BMW wheel. I wanted a branded steering wheel. I just didn't want to spend an insane amount of money on the Porsche wheel, so I opted for this one. I am going to get the Porsche wheel eventually, but I just figured long-term responsibilities come into play here. It's a lot of money extra just for a round thing to go on your steering wheel. So I opted for the BMW wheel as my first cost cut of the whole project. All right, you guys join me on the floor for the final piece of this build. So this is the piece de resistance. I would say probably the most expensive piece. I know I said the base is the piece de resistance, but this is like the ultimate kit here. This is exactly the thing I did not cost cut the most. As you can read on the box, it is the Club Sport V3 inverted pedals. Now you're probably wondering why I went with the inverted versus the standard, especially considering the inverted are significantly more expensive. I think there's like $150, $200 price difference between the two. And that is because I mostly drive GT cars and street cars in video games. I wanted a bit more realism for that front. This is a very expensive pedal set, and is the reason I did the custom build, because I wanted these pedals from the beginning. So I didn't want to buy the standard ready to race kit and then have these and have two random sets of pedals. So I opted instead just spend a little bit more and get, full custom build and do the pedals as an added extra. So I guess without further ado, let's pop these things open. Whew, okay, that took a lot of work. So the words "sorry but" are written on the top of the box. So I can only imagine what's on the inside. It will not fit in your car. This thing is very beefy. It will not fit in your car. They've made it abundantly clear it will not fit in your car because it's on the flaps and on the inside of the box. So this is probably the thing I'm most excited for, and it looks like they are already pre-assembled, which is great because I did not want to have to assemble anything today. So that wraps up the unboxing portion of this video. We're obviously going to get some first impressions with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut to you guys, and we're going to be back in my room and have the ThrustMaster removed, have this fully set up and ready to race. Alright, so got it all put together. So as you can see here, we got the CSL BMW steering wheel. Really good steering wheel. Got some gameplay going on in the background here. Got the base hooked up to the standard table clamp, but I'm getting rid of this really fast. I'm going to actually be converting this to the Moza table clamp. Because, I mean, look at all this motion. That's terrible. I should not have that much flex and movement in this wheel. And I know this clamp sucks. I found out after the fact. But yeah, very disappointed in that. Granted, I haven't had a table clamp that fits on this desk well yet. Even my Thrustmaster didn't fit all that great on here, but it was at least sturdy. This isn't even sturdy. The pedals, however, are fantastic. So everything works. The pedal vibration, unfortunately, does not work with Gran Turismo, it appears. But in terms of overall pedal feel, they feel fantastic. And yeah, I did a quick lap, a couple laps around Watkins Glen in the F3500 just to kind of see how that felt on Gran Turismo 7, which is what we're going to be testing this with today. And I'll work on working with iRacing here soon. So let's go ahead and cut to some gameplay, and we'll see how this goes. We're at Trail Mountain to test out the Fanatec. We're going to be using the 4GT LM Race Car Spec 2, a car I haven't actually driven with my original Thrustmaster setup. And we're going to see how this goes. So usually I play in VR, but for this, oh man, so the pedals, the brake is what I'm having the hardest time with. So this is a load cell. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to. And I think I might actually turn the damper down because I'm having to push so hard on this brake. And yeah, I know technically in real life you do have to push kind of hard, but like I feel like I'm really straining my leg to hit these brakes. I gotta get used to the load cell, I think. Everything's kind of just cocked over to the left. I need to adjust kind of just my placement of everything right now, because I'm not really liking placement right now. Oh my goodness, yeah, it's like I'm an amateur right now, because with my Thrustmaster, I'm pushing the pedal, and you can see it's barely lighting up the bar. That's part of the reason I'm not playing in VR, was I wanted you guys to see that I really have to hit the brakes for it to register. So I'm having to mentally kind of work with that. I'm gonna try to see if I can scoot these pedals over a little bit, so that helps a little bit here. Yeah, give me just a second to get everything kind of resituated here, because yeah, if the wheelbase didn't move so much, I wouldn't be too worried, but this clamp really is lowering my confidence, and I'm having a hard time with it. And of course the brakes are gonna take some getting used to, because not only is it a completely different setup than what I'm familiar with, but it's also inverted, so it's unfamiliar territory. I'm gonna get used to it and I'm gonna be better, but right now it just doesn't feel very familiar, so it's throwing me off my game, because I drive way better than this. I know I do. But it's just kind of wild. I have to push the brakes so hard to get this thing to slow down. Whereas I feel like I didn't have to push the pedals anywhere close to as hard before. But all in all, it feels fine. I just got to figure out the table mount. Like I said before, I've already bought the Moza table stand, because I've heard it's a better option for desks like mine versus the Fanatec setup. And obviously once I get a full rig, this isn't going to matter anyway. It's just going to be hard mounted to that rig. But that will be for a few months. So I was really hoping this would work in the interim, but oh, come on. I know I hit the brakes hard enough. I think I am going to wind up adjusting that damper, because the pedals do have an adjustable brake, to try to make this a little bit easier for me to push. Because I just think they're just almost too hard for me to push right now. I feel like I am improving, it's just a matter of comfort. I'm also driving a car I'm not entirely familiar with. What is nice is that these pedals don't squeak. My Thrustmaster pedals were squeaking like crazy. was a little brave there. This thing feels like it's gonna fall off my desk. Like, it's moving around so much. I don't have any faith in this table clamp. I know I've kind of harped on that, but like, I physically don't feel like this is gonna stay on my desk. And I'm using the default settings. Oh, come on. I was pushing the brakes so hard. Yeah, we're gonna switch up cars. Can we stop the car, please? There we go. What was the fastest we got that up to? It looks like a 149, which would put it pretty similar to the GR Super Racing concept, only a little bit off of that. That is the what appears to be the fastest Group 3 I've ran around here. All right, let's move to something I know I can drive. I tested this out the other night and I really liked it. This is an AMG GTR. Yeah, I think the main thing I'm gonna need to adjust is that brake pedal, because I'm straining my legs so hard to push it. I don't know what it's set to right now, but I'm gonna fix it. Obviously, those are really the main things I want to improve. Once I get the Mosaic clamp on, I'm gonna see if I can figure out the tuning menu on this thing and actually turn the force feedback up, because I feel like it's just super lightweight right now. Like, it feels heavier than my Thrustmaster does, but it doesn't feel like it's using all 8 Newton meters of torque. And I don't know if that's something I can change on here, or if I need to change it on PC. So I may have to finagle that on my computer, but this brake pedal is really killing me right now. Oh yeah, this thing's actively like trying to fall off my desk. That is ridiculous. Like, the accelerator sensitivity is one thing, but like that's something I can easily get used to. But I just need to make some physical adjustments and this thing will be perfect. Because I'm like really straining my legs to hit these brakes, and I really should not have to strain this hard for it to register full brake pressure. Like, I'm actually starting to, my right knee is actually starting to get sore, so I must have the setting really high. So I'll probably have to adjust that to make that feel a little bit better. Because I'm putting like the full might of my foot onto that. So anyway, first impressions are good otherwise. I think a little bit of physical adjustment with the brake pedal, and then getting a stronger table clamp like the one I bought from Moza should help this out a lot. And I know a lot of people say, why didn't you just buy the Moza wheel? Again, I wanted that PlayStation compatibility. The only reason I really wanted the Fanatec in the first place. So yeah, just some minor adjustments and this thing will be great. But I am going to wrap this up here now. So thank you all so much for watching this first impressions and unboxing video. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.